went through the whole school, college, university, internship, and finally landed a career. But I kind of followed the same path throughout. So you start off with the broad, generic drama GCSE, A-level, and then I did a master's degree at university in Kent, where I did drama and theatre and specialised in producing. And possibly the most pivotal point of that was a session that was organised for us to go up to London and meet with the Stage 1 organisation, which are a charity for new producers that are based in Covent Garden. And we had a session with them where they talked about how producers operate and what producers do, and the contacts that they have, and it was a very broad, it was a very brief meeting considering how much there is to take into account, but that was pivotal for me, and it kind of cemented for me that this is the industry that I wanted to work in. So when I graduated university, I'd had this session with Stage 1, which was very useful, and then I went through the whole difficulty that a lot of people go through, where you're trying to get a job and there's lots of people competing for the same thing, and it's not as easy as you think that you're going to roll out with your great degree and immediately walk into work. It just isn't that simple. And I think that jobs in the arts and theatre are particularly competitive. So I went through a period where I worked for the NHS, and then I landed an internship with Playful, which was as a result of a meeting through the Stage 1 organisation, hence why that was relevant. So I did 6 months with Playful, and then off the back of that I had an interview with Venue Cymru, which is in Llandudno, the largest regional arts centre in North Wales, and became that artistic programmer, which was quite a jump really. It was a bit of a baptism of fire. But I feel like my career's I've only ended up at this point in my career because of the previous experience, so everything's kind of led on to the next thing. So from Llandudno, where I was programming their spaces across a multi-genre, I went to Wolverhampton Grand Theatre, which was a commercial theatre, and now I'm here at Lighthouse. Yeah, so in a nutshell, our role is to make sure that we provide a programme that caters for our audience and what it is that they want to see. So here at Lighthouse, it's quite broad. We've got quite a diverse programme here, and we're really fortunate that we're able to do that because we have a number of different spaces. I mean, on a practical level, we programmers will look at work, see how that fits in terms of does it cater for the audience, make sure that there isn't any genre clashes with anything else we have on in the building, any other work, and ensure that there's a sufficient time gap in between the work that we have. There's the simple thing of scheduling, make sure we can find mutually convenient dates, or mutually available dates between us and the producers or the promoters that are touring their work, and the financial considerations that are involved in booking work. So it's different for every show. There are a number of different ways that we can make it work, and I guess part of our remit as programmers is to make sure that we protect the best interests of the venue whilst also achieving what we want out of our programme. And I think that artistic versus commercial balance is something that will weigh on a lot of programmers' minds, and trying to achieve that state of equilibrium between the two. But I think any programmer will probably tell you that is an ongoing battle in their head. And then once we've completed all of that, it's about contracting. We get the contracts in place, everybody gets signed up, and we've all agreed on the terms of what we're having, and then it kind of gets passed on to the other departments to fulfil their roles and bring the shows to fruition. A good grounding in the arts and in theatre and an interest in it helps, so that you've kind of got that keenness already to go out and see work, and not just see the work that's on, but gauge how audiences are responding to it. And I think just having that knowledge of how the industry works, I find the producing, I do predominantly programming now, but I find having the knowledge of how producers work to a degree helpful, because when you're talking about bringing shows in to your venue, you have an understanding of what it is that they're looking for as well. So that kind of understanding of both sides of the business helps. In terms of how you get it, I think it's just exposing yourself to as much of the industry as possible. you know, I think I was quite fortunate in the way things fell in my career, the start of my career. But that was as a result of getting experience. You know, I did a lot of learning once I got my job, a lot of winging it, which I'm not ashamed to say. You kind of just have to get on with it and make it work, and you do because you have to. The variety of it, I think. You know, I get to work in the arts, which it's a fun industry to work in, and you get to see the difference it can make to a lot of people, whether that is just as simple as somebody coming to the theatre or coming to a concert and having that evening of enjoyment, which is great, or whether they're getting additional benefits out of the work that we do here, like our learning and participation work, our creative engagement work that we do, and how that affects communities, and just seeing the benefit that brings to people's lives is a particular highlight for me. I think tenacity, because sometimes it's not always easy to get what you want or what you feel is right, is probably the better way to put it. So certainly tenacity. Positivity, because I think we all need a little bit of that, and particularly in the arts, you know. I feel like we're a positive industry that's wanting to make a difference, so I think you've got to have that positivity and forward thinking, because we plan so far in advance, and you want to, not only for practical reasons, but you know, just think to the future about what it is that you're trying to achieve and how you're going to get there. Yeah, expose yourself to the industry as much as possible. I think go and see stuff, and go and see a lot as a broad range of art that you can see, and talk to people. You know, in my experience, I found that industry professionals who are much more experienced than me are very generous with their time on the whole, and if they can help, they will.